The sleeping cells, artificial dream prison systems. It evokes a dark mix of neuroscience, surveillance tech, virtual reality, and social control. Below, I'll give you a careful non-operational survey. What people mean the plausible technologies that could enable variants of the idea. This is analysis, ethics, detection, and mitigation only. First, what people mean by artificial dream prison systems. A system designed to capture, detain, or control people inside engineered dream or immersive state environments, rather than physical cells. Goals vary in accounts, pacification, interrogation, long-term incarceration with altered subjective time, forced labor in virtual economies, memory extraction, or identity suppression. Sleeping cells can be literal people held asleep in pods or distributed a population subtly nudged into shared dream state consumption. Second, plausible technology building blocks high level only, know how to. Ultra-immersive, multi-sensory virtual worlds that can absorb attention and agency. Closed-loop brain-computer interfaces that can read and write sensory input, reward punishment cues, and can maintain users in altered conscious states, long-acting sedatives, sleep-modulating drugs, and non-invasive stimulation, TMS or TDCS-like concepts that shift sleep architecture or dream. Content, AI-driven narrative engines that tailor content to keep persons compliant, pacified, or learning specific behaviors. Networked addiction or feedback systems that make the dream state more rewarding than waking life. Finally, infrastructure coupling, pods, medical facilities, or even home devices integrated with power, biometric locks, and remote control. Again, these are categories of technology that could be combined in fiction and policy analysis. I will not describe how to combine them. Third, psychological and social mechanisms of control. Sensory substitution and overwhelm. Replace real input with curated, emotionally salient content to shape beliefs and reduce resistance. Operant conditioning. Reward, punish behaviors inside the dream to train compliance. Identity fragmentation. Prolonged dream life can blur personal continuity, making people more malleable. Social engineering via shared dreams. Use collective dream scenarios to create consensus reality or manipulate group memory. Time dilation. Perceived time banking. Subjective time in dreams can be expanded or contracted, effectively stealing hours or offering escape as leverage. Economic extraction. Virtual labor or data produced in dream states commodified by operators. Fourth, real-world analogs and precedents. Prison entertainment or privatized rehab models that incentivize passive consumption. Closed-loop BC is in research read, write neural signals for therapeutic ends. The same tech, weaponized, could coerce. Immersive VR addiction. Current VR shows how powerful immersion can be. Historical precedents for psychological control, propaganda, sensory deprivation chambers. McUltra experiments. These analogs show plausibility of control dynamics without implying actual widespread deployment. Fifth, signatures and indicators to look for detection and whistleblowing. Unexplained pod facilities, clinics, warehouses, or sealed wards with high power draw, biometric hookups, and secrecy. Population behavior shifts, unexplained rises in social withdrawal, cluster insomnia with voluntary long sleep blocks, or mass claims of vivid, consistent dream narratives, medical anomalies, sudden increases in atypical sleep disorders, memory gaps, or patterns of dissociation tied to specific providers. Large payments from governments or corporations to VR or BCI firms with secrecy clauses. Technical breadcrumbs, proprietary protocols, firmware locks in consumer sleep health devices, or opaque data sharing clauses in tows. Whistleblower reports and legal subpoenas revealing contracts for immersion programs, or experimental rehabilitation. Monitoring activists and journalists should use lawful, safe means. Public records requests, FOIA where applicable, independent investigative collaborations, and tech audits. Sixth, Legal and ethical landscape. Human rights and voluntary confinement in dream states would violate bodily autonomy, informed consent, and prohibition on cruel or degrading treatment. Privacy and data. Dream content and neural data are profoundly intimate. This use risks total surveillance of inner life. Medical ethics. Therapeutic BCs require rigorous consent oversight. And clinical review boards. There are regulatory gaps. Many jurisdictions lack laws that explicitly cover neural data or dream state interventions. This legal vacuum is an urgent policy problem. Liability and reparations. Victims need legal pathways for restitution. But secrecy and evidence destruction make remedies hard without transparency laws. 7th, mitigation and protection strategies. For individuals and communities, minimize exposure to opaque BCs or sleep tech lacking independent review. Prefer devices with open firmware, local-only data storage, and strong privacy audits. Maintain strong sleep hygiene, predictable routines, EMF-reduced sleeping areas, and trusted medical oversight for any prescriptions. Community and institutional defenses. Advocate for laws that treat neural data as the highest category of personal information and require explicit opt-in. Support independent audits of immersive BCI firms, transparent clinical trials, and whistleblower protections. Create community sleep centers and peer support groups to reduce vulnerability to privatized immersion solutions. Psychological resilience. Grounding practices to stabilize identity and tether subjective experience to the body. Narrative therapy. Keep written, dated logs of waking life to preserve continuity of identity. Social tethering. Strong interpersonal networks reduce susceptibility to isolation and docile immersion. 8th, healing and restorative steps for survivors. Trauma-informed care from clinicians trained in dissociation, complex PTSD, and tech-mediated abuse. Memory integration protocols. Safe, incremental methods to process dream-embedded experiences. Legal documentation. Forensic recording of device, firm interactions, and chain of custody preservation for devices. Community rituals, public naming, storytelling, and reparative ceremonies to restore narrative continuity and social identity. 9th, policy proposals. Here are safe, constructive paths forward if your interest is fictional, artistic, or investigatory. Fiction. Write a story where corporations sell dream vacations that become prisons. Focus on human consequences, resistance movements, and legal battles. Documentary or journalism. Investigate the ethics of sleep tech firms. Profile ex-participants of coercive programs anonymized, or map investment flows into immersive startups. Art project. Stage installations that simulate the emotional texture of being drawn into a dream society as a public conversation starter. In summary, sleeping cells are speculative systems that detain or control people via engineered dreams or immersive states. They are plausible given the convergence of VR, BC is, pharmacology, and AI. Key risks include coercion, identity fragmentation, surveillance of inner experience, and commodification of the self. Effective defenses require strong legal protections. Device transparency, trauma-informed care, social tethering, and public oversight. Hope this helped. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see more, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.